This is Wednesday, April 20th, 2011, and we're out here at the Rosamond Semi-Tropic Water Bank, and 4 bubblers you see in the right frame there are flowing. Now this is 3 hours worth, and what I'm saying to John Sides here, who's just put this in, what if it overflows the bank, John? What happens?
It's not possible.
Okay.
It's not possible.
You mean somebody thought of it ahead of time?
The water will run over the spillway.
Okay. And into the next section. One of the engineers estimated that the water bank can spread about 3,000 acre feet a month over the existing design of the water bank. The operations manager for RCSD told me today that his crew has got this all hooked up and water's flowing through it. Down here in the trench, if you listen closely, you can hear water flowing through this 30-inch line. Now the west feeder line is 60-inch, and they put a T into this line and then put this 30-inch line in the ground to get water flowing. Mr. Witt, I found fascinating a report to the board of directors today at the spaceport about your recent trip to Sweden. In brief, can you tell my viewers what that was all about?
John, it was fascinating. I came home energized that we're on the right track. And the spirit of creativity and innovation that's alive in Mojave and in the high desert, once again, we underestimate how our reach goes far beyond our grasp. These folks had studied us. They invited us to come and talk about why breakthroughs are occurring here in these small towns in their industry. And I came home energized when many things, but the visit to one of their schools was absolutely fascinating.
And you said that 3 kids in that school solved one of NASA's problems, or maybe gave some evidence that can help NASA.
These young kids, high school level, had taken on the challenge of determining why protein salts and other salts form crystallines in your inner ear differently, which have turned into the causal factor of space sickness. And these kids took hand warmers that the school gives out that they put in their pocket when it's 40 below. They put them on sounding rockets and then took pictures of the crystalline formations and found out that the crystals form in a schizophrenic manner, nonlinear, non-circular, like they do under G or in 1G here at sea level. And they gave that data to NASA, and 3 of them earned MIT full-ride scholarships for next year.
If those tax extensions don't come through, they're talking about another round of budget cuts. And if that happens, I have no idea what's going to happen to the kids, because there will undoubtedly be more layoffs and furloughs.
And that affects all of us, because we're here today to talk about access to records. And of course, the Public Records Act doesn't apply to the courts. And we have our other rules for access to the court records and proceedings. But when we have these budget cuts, it really impacts our ability for you all to get the information out to the public, and for us to then take it the next step further to get it to the public. So
no question.
It's the skilled contortions that you're doing to keep those doors open are really important for the public's access to the courts.
If we didn't have Jim and CNPA, we have never had to go to guns in court to get what we sought. But the quality of embarrassment certainly is a particular kind of tool.
Mr. Marble, I certainly appreciated your remarks today, especially the one that said collectively we allowed Bell to happen.
Right, I believe that.
As a media professional, what would possibly be some solutions to that?
Well, you know, in this economy and the journalism thing as it is, it's impossible to cover everything.
Right.
And I think we have to do a better job of covering local government, going after municipal accountability.
Sure.
I think we have to listen to people. I think a lot of papers, especially larger papers, we get to a point where we disregard the people that call up with tips, you know,
Yeah.
so-called gadflies. You know, listen to them. They might be onto something. It's worth taking a little bit of time and checking that out.
Sure.
And I think it's worth letting local city governments and agencies know that we're watching it. Ask for documents, ask for what legally we should be able to see.
Each county in California is required by law to become involved in that school district for the purpose of restoring the financial health of the district. And then once it gets to a certain point to where the eventual solvency of the district comes into question, that becomes then the most severe of concerns. Because solvency means that, school districts can't go bankrupt like private companies can, and some government agencies can. And the reason they can't go bankrupt is because they're creatures of the state that created them. And the state creates school districts in California to carry out the instructional program, the educational program for your children. So no matter what happens to the district financially, the state of California has to keep schools open and operating in your community.
And the rest of the board about the Open Meeting, Brown Act, and so forth requirements that you must strictly adhere to. A lot of us here in the community don't feel that you've been doing that. Mrs. Kirk, I have a question for you. This past week, a member of the community talked to you about your vote on not renewing the contract for Mr. Van Norman. And after him and Hein, you made a statement that you were trying to correct an error that was made 8 to 10 years ago. I would like to know what error you were talking about. Because 8 to 10 years ago, it was a different board. We didn't make a mistake. So I'm going to ask you to explain to the public what that statement was made for and what error you feel was made.
The errors had gone back 8 or 10 years. Well, I did give you an answer when I said that I did not say error, one error. The errors that have happened in this district have gone back a long time. And when I say errors, I'm talking about financial as well as administrative errors. There's been a lot of errors in this district.
Still not specific.
I went to one of our local people in town with a situation where one of our students was very needy and some things needed to be done for this student. I talked to this gentleman, Dusty Bitson. He was extremely happy, helped this student out. It was a great thing. It was like this kid, it was like Christmas all over this kid, like his whole life. That's why we're in education. That's why we need to stay in education for times like that. If you would have seen his face and my staff and everyone else, what he did is what we're all supposed to be doing, working for the students. I'd like Dusty, please come up here and get this certificate. Mrs. Dusty, I don't know her name, so we'll call her Mrs. Dusty. Thanks a lot, I appreciate it.
Mr. Smith, you should mention the business they have in town to support local business.
I believe it's the best friggin' bike store in the whole entire world. On Diamond Street, go by sometime. Get your bike fixed.
If you own a business or have a shop or anything like that, you can't have a high turnover rate. It's not any different with the council. If you guys take these board members out and keep trying to put new board members in to follow what everybody wants, it's never going to happen.
Lorelei, your comments tonight to the RMEC about the visioning process. How exciting. Tell me, what's that all about?
Well, we've been very fortunate that we have some funding. We're going to be doing a visioning process on a Saturday. It's June 4th. There's going to be flyers and notices coming out exactly what time, sometime in the morning to the afternoon. And we have a consultant that's going to take us through a creative process to actually design the future of the downtown business district, somewhat bounded by Hummel Hall, Sierra Highway, 20th Street, Rosamond Boulevard, with Diamond Street as the center. It's an exciting opportunity for us to actually design the future of what we want all that to look like. We're going to end up with a visual handout that we will present in a couple of weeks after that workshop at an evening meeting. This can start the future of how we can re-engineer all of our business district so that we can be part of the future and we can have economic vitality. So we're very excited about this, and we want seniors to come and high school kids to come and just anyone who is interested in giving us your ideas.